Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So we're reading now in 26 Avenue. You can see some nice pictures behind us of Srila Prabhupada and 26 Avenue. Don't know if they're really so clear, but really. We could make them a little bit clearer probably if we bring it closer. Would you want to do that?
I think we just read because that's why we're here.
Okay. You know, Grihastha ashram is not an easy ashram to be in.
There's a lot of tolerance.
A lot of tolerance. I mean, immense tolerance required.
You hear me, ladies?
Yeah, you hear me, boy? All right.
It's Canto 4, Chapter 12, Text 38. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And then that's when you gotta go octane up, isn't it?
You're just not getting it. Text 38. In this way, the fully Krishna conscious Dhruva Maharaj, the exalted son of Maharaj Uttanapad, attained the summit of the three statuses of planetary systems. Purport. The exact Sanskrit terminology for Krishna consciousness is here mentioned. Krishna Partiyana.
No, Parayana.
Sorry, Ma. Gotta go Specsavers.
So it was interesting though. She read all the English fine, but when she came to the Sanskrit,
well, because it's in italics.
It was the glasses, isn't it?
No,
obviously they're like English glasses and not. What it was.
Parayana means going forward. Anyone who is going forward to the goal of Krishna is called Krishna Parayana.
Harimo,
or fully Krishna conscious. The example of Dhruva Maharaj indicates that every Krishna conscious person can expect to reach the topmost summit of all planetary systems within the universe. A Krishna conscious person can occupy an exalted position beyond the imagination of any ambitious materialist. Well, there you go. Isn't that what everyone wants? To be famous and rich and influential and well known? And here Prabhupada is saying that a Krishna conscious person can occupy an exalted position which is beyond the imagination of any ambitious materialist. But who will hear our message?
Krishna Parayana. Going forward towards Krishna. Text 39. Saint Maitreya. Interesting. Saint Maitreya continued, my dear Vidur, descendant of Kuru, as a herd of bulls circumambulates a central pole on their right side, all of the luminaries within the universal sky unceasingly circumambulate the abode of Dhruva Maharaj with great force and speed. Each and every planet, this is a purport, each and every planet within the universe travels at a very high speed. From a statement in Srimad Bhagavatam, it is understood that even the sun travels 16,000 miles in a second. And from Brahma Samhita, we understand from the shloka beginning, Yakshchakshoresha Savita Sakala Grahanam, that the sun is considered to be the eye of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda, and also has a specific orbit within which it circles. Similarly, all other planets have their specific orbits, but together all of them encircle the pole star, or Dhruva Loka, where Dhruva Maharaj is situated at the summit of the three worlds. We can only imagine how highly exalted the actual position of a devotee is, and certainly we cannot even conceive how exalted is the position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Very powerful. I didn't quite get, I guess in this verse, But in the previous purport, it says a Krishna conscious person can occupy an exalted position beyond the imagination of any ambitious materialist. And I guess that's being compared to Dhruva Maharaj receiving this highest planet. But of course, when Dhruva Maharaj understood who Krishna really was, he was discouraged by the fact that he had wanted or desired this planet, specifically for himself. But also we get into a lot of astronomy here, where we understand the movements of the sun and the movements of the other planets, and it was just making me think of the TOVP and how they're working on building that chandelier, which shows all the different planetary systems, and would show how the here it's saying 3 worlds, but the 14 planetary systems are revolving around Dhruvaloka, the pole star, or the North Star, which is evidently the star that doesn't change. It's always fixed in the sky. Pretty powerful.
If you're lost at sea, it's helpful.
Yeah, for all you sailors out there.
At text 40, after observing the glories of Dhruva Maharaj, the great sage Narada, playing his veena, went to the sacrificial arena of the Prachetas and very happily chanted the following 3 verses. The great sage Narada was the spiritual master of Dhruva Maharaj. Certainly he was very glad to see Dhruva's glories. As a father is very happy to see the son's advancement in every respect, so the spiritual master is very happy to observe the ascendancy of his disciples. Oh, that's nice. I hope Srila Prabhupada, well, not hope, so I'm sure he is happy with many of his disciples and what they're doing, and how a lot of them have left in like such exalted positions and Krishna conscious and what they've gone on to do. But the ones that are here now, and I'm sure he's very pleased from his humble beginnings here in 26 2nd Avenue and what gems he produced, because the credits goes to him, all of it. So all glories.
Jai Prabhupada. Jai, disciples and followers of Srila Prabhupada. Text 41. The great sage Narada said. So he's gone into the assembly of the Prachetas, and this is actually this is one of those things you should remember, because Narada Muni now is going to the court of the Prachetas, but up until this point the Prachetas have not been mentioned or spoken about, and the conversation between Maitreya and Vidura is happening, and Maitreya is telling Vidura, okay, so after this pastime, after the ascendancy of Dhruva Maharaj, then Narada Muni was so pleased that he went to the court of the Prachetas and he started to sing Dhruva Maharaj's glories. The reason I'm saying this is because the latter parts of the 4th canto, which we're reading, will discuss and talk about the Prachetas. Because Vidura, they go on for some time talking about something, and then Vidura says, wait a minute, Maitreya, you mentioned the Prachetas earlier. Could you tell me a little something about them? So, like that. The great sage Narada said, simply by the influence of his spiritual advancement and powerful austerity, Dhruva Maharaj, the son of Suniti, who was devoted to her husband, acquired an exalted position not possible to attain even for the so-called Vedantists, or strict followers of the Vedic principles, not to speak of ordinary human beings. So, Narada Muni has gone to the court of the Prachetas, the 10 sons of Bodhishat. Oh my goodness. King Prabini, not Prabini, it's not. Barhishat. King. Goodness gracious, I can't believe I forgot the name. Babini Barhishat, something like that. And he's obviously telling them, he's extolling his glory so that they get inspired like, oh wow, okay, how can we do the same thing? So purport. In this verse, the word Veda Vadinaha is very significant. Generally, a person who strictly follows the Vedic principles is called Vedavadi. They are also so-called Vedantists who advertise themselves as followers of the Vedanta philosophy, but who misinterpret Vedanta. The expression Veda Vadavrata is also found in the Bhagavad Gita, referring to persons who are attached to the Vedas without understanding the purport of the Vedas. So that's an interesting section of the Bhagavad Gita. Veda Vadarata. Such persons may go on talking about the Vedas or may execute austerities in their own way, but it is not possible for them to attain to such exalted position as Dhruva Maharaj. As far as ordinary kings are concerned, it is not at all possible. The specific mention of kings is significant because formerly kings were also Rajarishis, for the kings were as good as great sages. Dhruva Maharaj was a king, and at the same time he was as learned as a great sage. But without devotional service, neither a great king, a Kshatriya, nor a great Brahmin strictly adhering to Vedic principles can be elevated to the exalted position attained by Dhruva Maharaj. So here we see that Dhruva Maharaj is really being given an exalted position primarily because of his devotion, his bhakti. And he was elevated to such an exalted status that's not available for those who are even strict practitioners of the Vedas, or those who are great kings, or those who are just learned brahmanas in general. It really is open to everyone, but one has to have sincere faith and devotion. As Prabhupada said, it simply requires for one to be serious and for one to be sincere. So that was Dhruva Maharaj.
Text 42.
42.
Great sage Narada continued, just see how Dhruva Maharaj, aggrieved at the harsh words of his stepmother, went to the forest at the age of only 5 years old, and under my direction underwent austerity. Although the Supreme Personality of Godhead is unconquerable, Dhruva Maharaj defeated him with the specific qualifications possessed by the Lord's devotees. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is unconquerable. No one can conquer the Lord, but he voluntarily accepts subordination to the devotional qualities of his devotees. For example, Lord Krishna accepted subordination to the control of Mother Yashoda because she was a great devotee. The Lord likes to be under the control of his devotees. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said that everyone comes before the Lord and offers him exalted prayers, but the Lord does not feel as pleased when offered such prayers as he does when a devotee out of pure love chastises him as a subordinate. The Lord forgets his exalted position and willingly submits to his pure devotee. Dhruva Maharaj conquered the Supreme Lord because at a very tender age, only 5 years old, he underwent all the austerities of devotional service. This devotional service was, of course, executed under the direction of a great sage Narada. This is the first principle of devotional service, Ado Guruv Ashrayam. In the beginning, one must accept a bona fide spiritual master, and if a devotee follows strictly the direction of the spiritual master, as Dhruva Maharaj followed the instructions of Narada Muni, then it is not difficult for him to achieve the favour of the Lord.
Haribol! A wonderful purport.
Yeah.
Anything?
So sorry everyone, I'm just a bit tired. So
Okay.
I got brain fog. No, I got something to say, I'm just saying. Just preluding it. So anyway, I was just saying that someone might read this and think, oh, if I'm offering prayers, that's not as, you know, what was the word Prabhupada used?
As potent,
Pleasing or pleasing, but the Lord does not feel as pleased when offered such prayers as he does when a devotee, say, chastises him. So you might think, what's that all about, you know? But that we would have that reaction because we're not on that level
spontaneous platform.
No, we're not on. That's not what I was going to say.
Okay.
We're not on that level of intimacy with the Lord, so therefore we'd be like, oh my goodness, why is she there? Why are they chastising? Why are they being so familiar? And we're like just on that awe and reverence and praying, which is not that Krishna don't appreciate that and he doesn't want us to do that, but the point is it points to the different degrees of intimacy and closeness, the relationships with the Lord. So it's like if someone's working or, I don't know, prime minister or boss or whatever, yeah, they're going to appreciate the subordinates and they tell them this is the latest report, gives them the stats, the data, whatever. That's cool. But then when they go home, they have a completely different relationship with their wives, with their kids, and then maybe the kid comes and throws some of its porridge at dad, or, you know, the mum says, look, what time do you call this? This is the time you come home from 10 Downing Street. You didn't take the rubbish out, you know, but it's a different type of intimacy and rasa. Maybe if the secretary of the Prime Minister was there, they'd be, oh my goodness, they're talking to Mr. So-and-so like that. Because they're not in that inner circle.
Inner circle.
They're in the outer circle. They're in the circle still, but not in the circle. They're in the circle.
Hari Hari! Ranga. So I thought it was powerful, this Adao Gur Vashrayam, which is taking shelter of the spiritual master. And if one strictly follows the direction of the Guru, then it is not difficult to achieve the favor of the Lord. So as we see, this is what Srila Prabhupada did. Srila Prabhupada here. And this is his spiritual master over here, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And he certainly got the favor of Krishna because he followed the order of spiritual master.
Absolutely. What hell he went through.
So next paragraph. The sum total of devotional qualities is development of unalloyed love for Krishna. This unalloyed love for Krishna can be achieved simply by hearing about Krishna. Lord Chaitanya accepted this principle, that if one in any position submissively hears the transcendental message spoken by Krishna or about Krishna, then gradually he develops the quality of unalloyed love, and by that love he can conquer the unconquerable. The Mayavadi philosophers aspire to become one with the Supreme Lord, but a devotee surpasses that position. Not only does a devotee become one in quality with the Supreme Lord, but he sometimes becomes the father, mother, or master of the Lord. Arjuna also, by his devotional service, made Lord Krishna his chariot driver. He ordered the Lord, "Put my chariot here," and the Lord executed his order. These are some examples of how a devotee can acquire the exalted position of conquering the unconquerable. I think that's a wonderful statement, conquering the unconquerable. So it's just so powerful. And it shows the potency of bhakti, that our devotion wins the heart of Krishna. And when someone wins our heart, we're willing to do anything for them. It just, we're willing to put ourselves out, or as you said, put ourselves through hell. Srila Prabhupada loved Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur so much, believed in him so much, that he was willing to subject himself to a situation that would not necessarily be something desired or felt conducive.
It wasn't
how
befitting.
many people, how many disciples of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur? He had several thousand, if not many more. I think he had many more disciples than Srila Prabhupada even. For some reason I seem to remember like 10,000. I could be wrong. But he had many disciples. How many of them followed or got the order to go, Prabhupada got the order to go to the West, but it's understood that many others also got that order, but Not many of them did it. It is such a great inconvenience. Wow. Inconvenience for long-term convenience. Hare Krishna. So I think maybe with that we can finish.
Yeah, but there were disciples in the West before Prabhupada came, and then they go back and they were...
Yeah, Bon Maharaj and different ones went to London, and probably that's why Prabhupada came to New York, because Bhaktisiddhanta had already sent his disciples to London. But yeah, they went back and eating with knife and fork and, you know...
So they got converted.
They got more or less converted, or gentized. Like they became gentlemanized. Anyway, they became gentized.
Britishized.
Blue-eyed. No. They just became eyed. They changed.
Interesting.
Yeah. Anything else?
No, that's all.
All right. Thank you all very much. Please keep joining us. We'll keep reading here at 26 2nd Avenue. Yesterday we were out and about, found a few places that we'll like to read outside. So you may see in a few episodes outside if it warms up.
Maybe.
Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki,
Jai.
Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki
Jai.
jai, Nanta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai,
Jai.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Jai.